Hello and welcome to Nicole Northgarden Stitches. In today's video, I have for you my weekly cross stitch updates. Here we go. Hello you all, I hope you're doing well. I'm here for a weekly cross stitch update. I don't know if I'll always do a weekly cross stitch update, but I've been stitching a lot and so it's fun to do the weekly updates when I can. So I hope you're having a good week, or that you had a good week. We started the week off extremely cold. I'm in Minnesota, for anyone who's new, and it was extremely cold earlier in the week, but now it's a little better. We've gotten well above zero, which is great. So for us, I think our lowest temperature last week, the beginning of the week, was like 20 below an actual temperature, and now it's like 20 above, 25 above, so we're significantly warmer. So it feels like spring, and I went out in a fleece this morning because it just doesn't feel bad when you're used to 20 below. So anyway, in today's video, I have some stitching updates. I also got a little friend mail that I want to share with you, and then I have some haul, and I have two full finishes, FFOs. For anyone not familiar, FFO is fully finished object. And mine are not super interesting. They're just framed, but I will tell you about those. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Maybe I'll start with the FFOs. So I did finish, I had already finished some stitching on two projects. So one is Flea Market Flowers, which I told you about last week. And the other one, it was called Cross Stitcher in Residence. I finished stitching that like last year sometime, and I'm terrible about fully finishing things, but I took some footage. They are hanging behind me, but I took some close-up footage, which I will insert here. Here is Flea Market Flowers. Looks a little dark, and I'm trying not to get the glare. I decided to go with glass. I don't usually go with glass, but because it's just going to be on the wall for so long, I didn't want it to get dusty. Clearly, I didn't get all the wrinkles out the way I thought I did, but that's okay. It's a home job, and that's okay. And then here's the other one, my other FFO that I stitched a while back. And I had always intended to frame it and put it here, and I just hadn't done it yet. So, in case you're wondering, that's my mom. And that's my little vintage Valentine display. Oh, it changes. I put different stuff in there throughout the year. There's my grandma. So that's my mom's mother. And then I moved this plate. This was there. And I moved that up and then put that there. So those are my two FFOs. I'm super happy. Yay. So yes, I'm super happy to have these on my wall. Yeah, especially behind my videos when I'm filming FlossTube videos. I think that's very cool. And there's the other one. Like I said, I don't usually do glass, but I'm happy I did on that one just because, like, this one is not behind glass, but that one I did just because it's bigger and it's on white and it's going to be there forever. Yeah, so anyway, that's why I chose to do that. I know there's some debate. I didn't mention it in the video, but I did use spacers. So basically spacers are these, well, you can buy expensive ones that are these long strips of plastic. I used something else, which I can tell you about, but it's basically it separates your stitch project from the glass so that your stitches don't get smushed, flattened. I used, these are acid-free cubies. Whew, knocking something down. And so that's what I got, and they just stick. So it's all acid-free adhesive, and they so like every inch and a half or so, I put one down so that the glass would then, not crush my stitches. And then I covered the back with paper on this one. On this one, I was able to use the backing for the frame, so that was nice. And that's just a Dollar Tree frame right there. And this one I got at the craft store. So yeah, so I was super happy with how they turned out. I didn't make any major mistakes. Usually when I'm finishing things, it's like trial and error, but I watched a video from, darn, I can't remember her name. Well, if I can think of it, I will insert a link to the channel whose video I watched to fully frame mine. And I used something different this time. I used the pinning method, which usually, so if you're familiar with cross stitch, usually when you put your project around a foam board and then you use thread, like embroidery thread, and you lace it and pull tight, and that's how you get it to be on the foam board. But you can also use pins, sequins and bead pins, which are shorter than regular pins. And that's actually the method I used, and I think I'm gonna stick with that. That was much better for me. I feel like I had more control over the final positioning of the project. So I really like that. Maybe someday I'll do a video, but probably not. There's a lot of good videos. And yeah, you could definitely, if I think of it, I will link you to the one that I watched if you need a video on how to frame a cross stitch. It was super helpful, and I followed it like basically to a T. The only thing I did differently than in the video was I used command. My frame did not have a hanger on it, and neither did hers in the video. She put in hardware, which you can do, but I also, I love command strips. They work really well, and then you don't have to like make a hole in your frame. So I just used command strips to hang mine, and then they come off the wall really easily. So anyway, that's just, you know, new technology. Like, they work really well now, and you can get them in different weights if your project's really heavy or whatever, which that is not. So anyway, so those are my FFOs. I'm super pleased with them. Yeah. Okay. So I will show you my friend mail really quick, and then we'll get into the stitching. So I mentioned I have a project going. It's called Three Gables, and I call it Halloween House. It's my only Halloween project, and I used floss from Stash that was really old, and it's called Sable, and I forget, I think it was a Sampler Threads, old dye lot, and that color has significantly changed since I got my skein of it. So needless to say, I did not have enough to finish that Halloween house. And then I did find a little bit more in my stash when I was cleaning out at New Year's. But I mentioned that in a video, and a YouTuber reached out to me. Her name is Robin. Her channel is Thrifty Artist Stitching, and she sent me more. So now I think I will definitely have enough. I'm so excited. So thank you, Robin. I linked her channel in my description box last week because I was telling you about that happening, and I will try to link it again today if I remember. Hopefully I will. Okay, so let's get on to the stitching. Let me get a few things. Hold on. Okay, so I mentioned to you that I am doing Temperature Daily 30. If you're not familiar, that's a way to get 30 minutes in on different projects each day, on a different project each day. So it's a way to like rotate through your WIPs, your works in progress. And the way I'm doing it is I've assigned holidays or seasons to each of the digits 0 to 9. And then each day I look at the previous day's high temperature, and the second digit of the high temperature is the code. And then I look on here and see which holiday I should stitch from for that day for my 30 minutes. And then I also have a focus piece going. So that's sort of how I'm managing my stitching this year. And so it was a funny week though, because you would think like, okay, I put my last video up, I think it was Sunday, or I filmed it on Saturday, which I'm filming again on Saturday. So, you know, 5 or 6 days. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of stitching. So I guess it was a full week, but only 3 projects, but really 2. So one project, Valentine's Day, came up 4 times. 4 times. Valentine's Day is assigned to the number 2. And so it came up 4 times. I'll tell you the temperatures in a minute. And then Thanksgiving came up twice. And then fall. So the first temperature after my last FlossTube was 17 degrees. And so the 7 means that I would stitch on fall. I stitched on pumpkins and marigolds. I'm not even going to show you. I've shown it to you before. It's just a pumpkin right now. It's rows and rows and rows and rows of orange stitches. Not very interesting to look at. So that came up the first day, and then every day after that was either Valentine's Day or Thanksgiving. So the Valentine's Day, we had 37 degrees, and then it went down to 12, and then it went down to -2, and those were both Valentine's Day. And then I had a Thanksgiving Day, and then it was 12, and then another temperature, and then 12 again, which is really fun. So I will show you my Valentine project, which is actually also a new start, because I did not have I finished my Valentine's Day project that I had already started this year. I have it right here. I showed this to you already. So that was the one I had going, Valentine Bird. And so now I have a new Valentine's project. So this is a freebie. It's called A Token of Love, a Valentine Quaker pattern from Mill on the Floss Samplers free digital download chart. And so this is what it looks like. They did theirs online. You can see the color. This is a reddish fabric with like a cream colored floss, which is beautiful, but I didn't want to buy anything new. I just wanted to work from my stash because we're in low spend January. So I'm trying to kind of work, except for Christmas money that I had to get stuff, which is what the haul, well, actually my haul is some Christmas gifts and then my Christmas money. But anyway, so I'm just trying to work from my stash. So I think it's Country Mocha, Vintage Country Mocha. I don't know, something very similar to Vintage Country Mocha. I just pulled a piece out of my stash. It's like a tan. And then I had this in my stash. This is really old Lancaster red from Weeks Dye Works, which is really funny. You can see the ticket. Wow, the price tag on it is Daisy Barrel. That was my favorite needlework store. It was a quilting and needlework store in Ohio, I think like Kettering, Ohio, or near Kettering, Ohio. It closed years ago. So this is really old, and it was only $2. They've definitely gone up in price since then. But anyway, so that's what I decided to use. And this is a time-intensive pattern. So even though I worked on it 4 days, this is what I got done, because it's just a lot of counting. You can see like it's not block stitching. But I'm super pleased with it. So this represents about a little less than 2 hours of stitching, because one of the days no, it is about 2 hours. Well, one of the days might have been a little short, but not much. So it's just a very slow project. Plus, I usually do it while I watch TV. So, you know, then it's a little slower even still, because you want to make sure you don't mess anything up. I haven't done any major mistakes on this one yet, which is good. So that was my new start, my Valentine project. And I'm super enjoying it. I think it's gonna be really pretty. I am going to finish it into a pillow the way they did in the sample, in the picture, but my pillow will be tan and not red. Okay, and then the other 2 days, the temperatures were, there was a -8 degree day. That was the high temperature. So one of the days, the high temperature was -8. And then the other day, it was 2 days later, the high temperature was 28. It has just been a wild week for weather. That's a lot of W's. So for the 8th, it's Thanksgiving. I just sealed that up. It's Thanksgiving, and I'm working on this cutie pattern. It's from a magazine. Where is it? Here we go. Actually, I think I need to pull it out of its thing here. Hold on a second. This is how I keep my floss organized. So this is called Patterned Turkey, and it's super cute. I love it. And I actually got something at the craft store this week to do the finishing when it's done. I'm going to finish it just like this. So super adorable. I have a long way to go, but I'll show you my progress. I am just working through, so this was 2 days of work. I think I'll insert pictures if I have, pictures from where these projects were. And most of this project is DMC, but I am using a variegated for the body because I wanted, a little variegation in the colors, because that's a lot of brown. So you can kind of see this is lighter, this is darker. So this is 1X at a time because I'm trying to get the variegation in there. And so it goes slow. So, and let's see, I did write down my stitch counts for each time. So the Thanksgiving, the first day, let's see, I worked 30 minutes and got 80 stitches. And then the next time it came up, I worked 30 minutes and got 70 stitches. So about 150 new stitches into that project this week. So when I go through my haul, I will show you the little cutting board that I got to finish that one. Okay, and the only other project I worked on this week was my focus project. And again, like I said, I'll insert a picture of where I was. This one is called The Anniversary by Leela's Studio. I love this piece. It's really great to stitch on. And I love all the different colors. I just think it's really pretty. I am pulling it from my stash, but I'm getting as close, you know, I'm getting pretty close. Like, I'm using the designer's intent. The weird thing is on the pattern, see where all this light green is in the background here? That's all blank on the pattern, but I really like the stitched model, so I decided to do what is here rather than what's on the pattern. And I think, let me see. The pattern actually has an error in it as well. So in the pattern, the top line here is green like it is, but the bottom is that blue, like is around the letters. But the stitched model, it's green all the way around. I'm gonna do like the stitched model because either it's a mistake or I just like what this stitcher did over what's in the pattern. So So I'm really enjoying this. I did change the apron a little bit. You'll see that one was just pink and white, but I didn't have, it had to do with the pinks that I have and that I'm using. So I decided to just put blue, some blue and some yellow into the apron to create that pattern. Although you can't really see it very well in mine yet because I haven't stitched the whole thing yet, but here we are. My thread is attached because I'm actively working on this. So I've done a lot. Like I said, I'm stitching the green, even though it doesn't show in the pattern. And then you can see I've worked on her apron and her dress. And you can kind of see the blue and the yellow. And I will come in and fill in with the pink. But I'm over here on the dress right now. So I need to get to here, and then there's like 3 rows across, like 3 rows of like you stitch pink all the way across. And this is also one at a time because it's a variegated floss, so it's a little slow, but I'm really enjoying it. I don't mind that it's slow. So yeah, that is the anniversary. Loving it, highly recommend. Okay, let's move on to my haul. I told you last week that for one of my projects, it's called like Frosty or something Frosty. I don't know. It's a snowman. I'm doing it on Picture This Plus, on a dark blue Picture This Plus. And I tried Sulky for the white of the snowman because I just didn't like how my stitches were looking with the DMC on the Picture This Plus. So, I like the Sulky so much. Sulky is this, you use 1 thread instead of 2, so it's heavier than like a DMC floss. And I love the way my stitches look with the Sulky, so I decided to order colors to do the rest of the project in Sulky. So these are all for my Frosty, Twilight Frosty, I think is the name of it, and it's from a multi-pattern book that I got, booklet, I would say it's a booklet, that I got from my local needlework store before it closed. So I got these colors to work on Twilight Frosty. They're all Sulky, and yeah, I'm super excited about that. I also have heard so much about Bowen needles, so I did order some Bowen needles. I like 26, the size 26. I stitch almost exclusively on 18 count Aida. And so I thought I would try. I actually use the 26 size 26 needles from Hobby Lobby. I actually really like them, but they bend. So I was like, well, maybe these will be a little more durable. Like, it's silly because then you really do need to throw them out because it's unpleasant to stitch with a bent needle. I mean, it'll still work. It's just unpleasant. So I thought, well, I'll try these. They weren't that expensive. I think they were like $3 versus like $1.34 for like the ones I use at Hobby Lobby. But yeah, so I'll let you know what I think. I've never never used a special needle before. We'll see. Okay, and then I got some things to just fill in my stash with. These were at the Goodwill outlet bins. If you're not familiar, that's a place where you go, and if you thrift any, they have these big bins and you can pull stuff. It's like the leftovers from Goodwill, or people can also donate directly to the bins, and they weigh everything that you get. So you have to be careful because, like, especially like my bins are really expensive. They're like $2.69 a pound, but even at $2.69 a pound, these are really cheap. And it's not, I think that these aren't like a special brand. They're probably just cheap, like stuff that, you know, a kid was using for their bracelets or something. But I did pull at the thread, and I like the texture of it, and it didn't pull apart. There was another set there. I forget, Mira was the brand. Those were terrible. They like shredded when you pulled at them. But these feel very much like DMC. So like they don't shred. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to get them and keep them in my stash because they're like almost free. And if I need like a light gray in particular, that's something that comes up a lot, you know, it's nice to have some extra colors, a pretty blue. There's a purple, a light pink would be useful. I don't know about the oranges, but this is pretty too, like a salmon. So yeah, so that was from the Goodwill outlet bins. Those will just go into my stash. And then I got a new pattern. So I got a job in July, a new job, and it's going very well. And I got some recognition recently, and I decided to treat myself as a pat on the back to me. Yay, for doing well at my new job. So I wanted to find a pattern that would be kind of bigger. This is a bigger pattern for sure. And I'm not going to start it until after the anniversary. But it's from, it's called Midsummer Song by Misty Purcell of Luminous Fiber Arts. I think this is darling. I love it. The colors go a little primary, and I might tone them down a little. We'll see. Although maybe that's what I like about it, is the primary colorness of it. So we'll see. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But I did order some of the colors because I knew I didn't have anything like these in my stash. My stash is kind of dwindling on the greens and grays. And so these were some of the colors that are the called for. It is a multi-page pattern. Like, this is definitely big for me. Like, I don't generally do patterns this big, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to try something new. So that was in recognition of doing well at my new job. Okay. And then I have some Christmas presents to show you. So I made a list. I have a wish list, and my hubby ordered some things for me. Okay, so I got some fabric. These are for some of the projects that I will show you in a minute. So I got some Vintage Country Mocha. This is a big piece, which will go with some of the patterns that I got. And then I got this is white because I want to do a monochromatic blue on white pattern. I haven't picked the pattern yet, but that's something I want to try this year. And then I got another piece of Vintage Country Mocha, but I don't remember why. Okay, and then some of the patterns I got this. I am doing these scales. I haven't started them yet, but I have 3 of them now. I have December, January, January and February. My goal is to have them done for next year. I would like to have the December one done for this coming December, and then have December, January, February, and have the scale also finished, because I also got the wooden scale, which I should show you. Hold on. I told you about it like a week or 2 ago, but I'm going to show you this time. Hold on. So here is the scale, and I have to paint it. But I think this is going to be so cute on my wall somewhere, because I love vintage scales. I was like, this is the perfect pattern for me to do. So it's from this place called Paisley and Polka Dots, and it's made to go with these patterns from Stitching with the Housewives. So that's my goal for next year, well, for this coming year, and then into early next year, is to get them done so that I can hang them on the wall, at least those 3. And I actually grabbed out the other 2 so I could show you. I actually put in a few stitches on this one, and then I was like, I can't do this yet. I don't want to like get sidetracked from my other projects, but I'll do it for next year. So anyway, this is January. And so you can see each one has the month and then a different picture down below. And the way they tell you to do is you finish them with a magnet on the back, and then you can stick them to, or a washer on the back, and you stick them to a magnet that's on the scale. I don't know. There's a whole video about it. I thought it was so cute. And then this is December. So that is my plan for next year. And that was part of my haul, was the February one. And in addition, I also got this. This was part of my Christmas presents. It's by the Drawn Thread Charted Needlework Designs, and it's Welcome Spring. And I love this, and I actually want to stitch this and just have it in my entryway all the time. It's not so springy that it wouldn't just work for my house all the time. And it has so many things I love, which are like bunnies and robins. I just think it's darling. So that's my plan, and that's what part of the big piece of fabric that I got is for this. And then I also got these. I got 5 of them. There's more than that, but these are by Country Cottage Needleworks, because I'm from the Jersey Shore, and these reminded me so much of the boardwalks that we have. So I used to go to Point Pleasant. That's where I'm from. And then there's also a place called Ocean Grove, and there's like Avon by the Sea and Seaside. Just little darling boardwalks to go on, and they have things that look like this. So I was like, I have to stitch these. So I got 5 of them, and I'm going to do them all on one piece of fabric. So I got, this one said, oops, yeah, I didn't show anything. This one says ice cream shop, and then bicycle shop, which there was a bicycle shop where Chris, my husband, and I each got a bike when we were little, not directly on the boardwalk, but in the same town. So totally reminds me of that. And then this is just a sign that says boardwalk. And this says saltwater taffy and surf shop. So I just love these. I am doing mine. This is a really lovely, very, very pale blue linen that they're stitched on originally. But I am just going to do mine on a fabric that's that color. It reminds me of sand, and I think that will be just fine. Most of the colors will show just fine. The only place it might get weird is the ice cream cones. But I think I could do them a little darker if I need to. I think it's going to be fine. So yeah, because like I said, I do 18 count Aida. There is a color called Ariel by Picture This Plus, which I could do, but I want to use DMC, and I haven't been a fan of how 2 strands of DMC looks on 18 count Picture This Plus, and then 1 strand is kind of thin. So I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to use the Vintage Country Mocha. It's a good standby, you know, like it always looks good. So, and then another thing I got, I told you I want to do a bunch of patterns that have the tomatoes in them, because I have a whole collection of sewing tomatoes. And yeah, so maybe if I think of it, I'll insert a little footage of my sewing tomato collection. I don't think I did that last week. This is my collection of sewing tomatoes with plenty of space for ones to be added. So I just love them. I think they're darling. Yeah, super happy with them. So I would love to do a bunch of patterns that have sewing tomatoes in them, and then just hang them on the walls around my collection. So this is one that I found online, and I thought it was really cute. And she includes instructions. Oh, I should say who it is. This is Sue Hillis Designs Hoop-de-doo, and she gives instructions on how to cover a hoop with fabric and then use that to frame it. So I just think that's really clever, and I love the gingham. I think that's gonna be darling. So that is it. That was my Christmas haul that I wanted to show you as well. Put all this away. Putting it all away. Now that I've shown you, I'll be able to actually put stuff away, which is nice. As I was editing my video, I realized I forgot to show you what I said I was going to show you as part of my haul. This is from Hobby Lobby, and I got it for my pattern turkey. So you saw the picture of how they finished it. They had like a little bow here, and then the cross stitch turkey is here. That's what I'm going to do. But I forgot to show you when I was showing my haul. Okay, now back to Now back to the video. Okay, and last but not least, I have an announcement to make. Last week, I did a giveaway of this pattern. I previously stitched it. I showed that to you last week. And so a bunch of people wrote to enter the drawing. And Jeanette L., you are the winner. I will send you an email. And if you could send me back your address, I will get this in the mail to you. And the winner from the previous week, Del M, sent me her address, and hers is in the mail. So I am doing another giveaway because I said I'm just going to give away patterns until I don't have any more patterns to give away. Here it is. It's another one that I've already stitched. This is a Thanksgiving one. I think it's called It's called Harvest Blessings. And it's a little heart and hand. An old one. I told you most of the patterns I'm going to be giving away are older. This is published in the year 2000, but it's in really good shape. You can see I only paid $2.50 for it, and it's from my favorite needlework shop that is no longer. So I would love to send this to someone who would like to stitch it, not just collect it, but if you would like to stitch this, you have plenty of time before Thanksgiving. So that's the back. That's what I usually do on the back of my finishes, but it's some kind of paper. Right now I'm just using plain brown because that's what I have, but this was a bag from the Daisy Barrel. That's the kind of bags they used to give out, which is really cool. And then I would use them to finish. But anyway, so if you would like to be entered in the drawing for Harvest Blessings, write me an email. You must be 18 to enter. International people are welcome to enter. It will take a long time to get to you, but you can enter. And so write me an email and say harvest in your email, and then I will enter you all in a drawing and pull a name for next time. So that is that. So Jeanette L., get me your name, your address, and I will send this to you. And then I thought we'd do something fun. So I would love to see things that you are stitching on. So if anyone, and I would love to show the community here things that you are stitching on. So if you would like to be included, I will insert some pictures in my next video of your stitch projects. So if you would like to show the world what you're doing and you don't have a YouTube channel, I would love to show the world what you're doing. So if it's something that you're stitching on, send me a picture. If you could take a picture that shows one picture that shows what it will look like, the picture from the pattern, and then what your progress is, can't talk, then that would be fun. And I will insert pictures from our community here into my next video. So, okay, so you can email me those pictures at northgardenmedia@gmail.com. You can email me to enter the drawing at northgardenmedia@gmail.com and for that one, put harvest in your email, and then I will enter you into a drawing. So that's all that I have for you today. I hope this was enjoyable for you. And yeah, I'm excited to be stitching more this week. I will announce the winner of the next drawing next week. I'm planning to do another weekly update next week. So until then, I hope you get lots of stitchy time. I hope our weather kind of calms down and that you're having okay weather wherever you are. And I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.